The clips from other programs, book recommendations, and odd segue moments are enough for some, and they do make you think. But here are my more in-depth thoughts of what I got out of Magical Egypt, Season X. Episode 1's called The Cosmic Trigger. We all respond on different levels, which we are meant to use. The denial of sensuous magic was a product of faiths that separated aspects of life from religion. The unwillingness of churches and cults to encourage deliberate and methodic use of these 114 chakras denied us the psychological benefits of such experiences. When understood beyond material culture and psychological terms, the differences between mythologies mostly fade, and the remaining differences only represent or approach the same things. Experiences happen, but it is best to be ready. Episode 2 is called The Stairway to Heaven. The myths are shown by and enacted in the temples. The religions are about us, and there is a teaching about the same things if we look in a different way, beyond the literal, in some places. If the forces within are made to work together, our response to an experience of the outer forces doesn't have to be abrogated. We find that humans of old had a more common ability to reconstruct or form ideas of the fragmentary. Humans are far more capable than your typical secular or supposedly sacred system will lead you to believe. When we pathwork for ourselves, the universals will find their particulars known in our life. Episode 3 is Exit Strategy. Little do we realize everything sacred or acting like it has certain effects. Rather than lost time, we find that there is a living tradition from old. It forms a model for life and examples for dying. Some of it is not received from humans, but we need to work a model of consciousness for it to click or to discover it beyond concreted forms. It survives in a way in the similar rituals of society. It is a personal duty to prepare for transition, but not just some dismissal by authority that wants a reset. Gradually, we will find more of the origins and the steps that implies. We can become operators that merge and separate duality. Another way is to regard culture beyond the popular context, which is having the material universe as a means rather than as something to cling to in attachment. Finally, we become, as the sent ones, are totally aligned with the divine. Magical Egypt, Season X, Episode 4 is Your Return Ticket is in the cards. The deck that we see in this episode is the Buska Tarot, and references made to the Freemasons. Well, I'm sure it's not the only episode, or maybe it is, I don't know, but something keeps the mythological forms alive, which is like unto what keeps us alive. Some of the most powerful families have used their wealth to preserve, discover, and express knowledge. The aspects of society were meant to work together. The universe shows patterns that work in or for the human being. Merely unusual experiences aren't something to presume are illnesses and need medical treatment. Thought forms build up in places and people which can be passed on. The symbols and methods are no longer occult, but it is to us to work it out and leave our lasting mark on society. Draconian and Saturnian is as a focus on what rules this world. Our blood and soil has a particular effect on us. But of course, it's not something to justify some sort of prejudice, is it? Episode 5 is called The Golden Flower. Mythology is to bestow new experience for the individuals using it at the least. Restoration and rebirth doesn't mean regression. The human is between the lower animal vehicle it is in and divine qualities, both of which are something it can operate. Then, such as the sex drive becomes a power to direct and become aware rather than an addictive force. Not doing or not being reacted upon, at least to some degrees, becomes a method of experience. It is not about mere control of the externals, but of developing of the internals with a devotion that is not stifled by church or whatever such conservative organization. Episode 6, G is for, and we're given 6 dots. There are certainly those experiences where information comes through in a way that is more than humanly possible, or a person can react between moments, which is why it is good to practice for death. Nature will evolve us anyway, but it is better to willingly and by choice. Otherwise, it is important to learn that what we do to the external universe is what we do to ourselves. Drug use can be a distraction from reality, or it can be part of true shamanism. But drugs, musical instruments, and taboo breaking are not the only ways to those same experiences and uses of becoming. The point is not enjoyment, but one is meant to work the potential, the actual, to connect to the transcendent, to know, will, dare, and keep secret in the sense of some things requiring practice and experience. The rituals and roles play out particular types of interactions that puts us in line with aspects of divinity. Autonomy from political and ecclesiastical authority is an underlying current in whatever sense that is. Truth and good is what it is, regardless of us. But no one can make it part of ourselves for us. The outer world is a means, but that doesn't mean religion itself is something to pay for. Now, there's some really good graphics in these shows. Some of them, like the opening scene, seems to be maybe based upon some footage, but it's like altered into some sort of video game scene, or maybe it was that. Maybe it was a graphic that was made to look super realistic, like some of these that wasn't even based on a real picture or video, because some of the statues and stuff. But But then there's photos of real statues and how they line up with brain stuff, much like the previous program. Certain graphics about what goes on inside the body and all that. And so there's some technical information, certain sites, certain chemicals that the brain goes through, or certain processors, or, so there's some stuff that I'm just giving some general ideas of the stuff I was thinking. And some of the ways that I phrase things, yeah, that wouldn't be what's the producers of the film would have used. But this is just my thoughts while watching these 6 programs, and I don't know how many times I'll watch them. I may end up watching them a dozen times or so a piece, like the other previous series, series 2 and series 1, and the symposium and stuff. But yeah, as I said with the beginning, the charts, that show you some of the stuff that's going on, how how it relates to this artifact or this part of you or something like that, are different proportions of the universe, you can say. Yeah, for some people, that's going to be enough for them to want to buy the series.